So now we're at the water. This is where I wish to share with you. Well, I guess everything, and this one's gonna take a little bit, but I have a tendency to make shorter videos. I always intend to make them longer, but well, I may seem like I'm rambling at times. I'm trying to reinforce a point, but this one I'm gonna try my best to connect everything, and I'm hoping in the connection of the experience, things will make sense to you. So, what I want to show you is first is that you're perfect. So, I'd like for you to take a deep breath and understand that this will trigger most of us, and we'll have a thought about this. But this is to know what I mean by you're perfect. And what I mean by you're perfect is what I'm sharing with you is what was written down thousands of years ago. It's a process to offer you to discover what others know. And in it, it helps you understand what is knowing. And in understanding what is knowing, as well as definitely understanding what is belief, you're going to find consciousness, who we truly are. Now, our problems are actually subconscious symptoms that we are diagnosing and we're treating. And we've made a commerce on ways to help each other. Some things work, some things don't. The stuff that I'm sharing with you, you'll find is a lot different. It's something that a lot of people talk about, and there's a lot of people that talk about the same thing, which comes down to spirituality. And spirituality is really an experiential process, a discovery, really, of your truth. Now, when we have symptoms of depression and anxiety, if we could just put away what we believe is the cause of that, and if we can just accept that the experience is felt within, and there may be an ability for you to discern enough to see your environment and what's going on inside. And what you're going to realize is this experience that you're having that is triggered because of an external stimulation, you have a certainty, a belief, a right or wrong about that. And then you have an emotional reaction to this. And many of us are trying to leave something that we believe is bad or not good. And we're trying to go towards things that we think are what we want. And the irony is, if you look at this, this is a subconscious engine. And you're going to find that it's an endless source of suffering. In the East, they understand this as simply suffering, which is caused by self non recognition. Now, saying that, some may lose attention because it's not familiar. We don't understand what that means. But what I just showed you, what I just said, and I'll repeat it, is the source of our problems comes from self non recognition, meaning that we do not know our true self. And when we get triggered, we become this sub self, this subconscious. Now, this happens naturally for all humans. And this is more so a reflection of, well, your environment and you. For your environment sometimes did not try to teach you the lessons that you believed or you learned from. And there are some lessons inside of you that others tried to teach you that you just refuse to learn. But if you try to understand your experience and understand that your anxiety or your depression may not be what others are telling you, it may be more so a reflection of how conscious you are. And if you gain more awareness on what is causing these symptoms, that these are compulsions, these are thoughts, these are expectations, these are assumptions, these are beliefs, that all of these beliefs and everything that your mind will show you in time is more so a reflection of how smart you are. And you start applying this as knowledge. Don't let it go to your ego. You understand that we're all very, very intelligent. And the thing that makes us not that smart would be what we think about things. Our ultimate intelligence in us, they say, is consciousness. And this is you without your mind. And you without your mind observing, detached, from the desire of wanting something, or detached from the belief that that's going to hurt you somehow. For you to do what is needed in the now, and the way you know it needs to be done, you're going to find this very clear in consciousness. To experience this stuff, there's two things that are going on constantly. One is the now, and in the now, you're going to hear me always say, study 3 times a day. And this is because we need that until we don't. So, past it annoying us, the truth is, if we're studying 3 times a day, this doesn't trigger us. But it triggers a lot of us that is not studying 3 times a day. But this is an expectation, yeah? And this expectation cannot be Butorfly's expectation. This has to be your expectation to know. And in order for you to know, well, you have to know more. And this is going to be easier if you're curious. If you're curious, this turns into a journey of discovery, of trying to figure out what is the source of your experience. And the path is inward. It's a step-by-step journey on a journey without one step. When you start experiencing things, you start understanding what is knowing inside. You'll see what you believe about things. And you're going to see that within what we believe is where all of our depression, all of our anxiety, all of our ego, all of our joy, all of our sorrow, all of our sabotage of what we believe. Now, that's very personal to us, but it might not be as accurate as you believe. What is accurate always is if you could let that go and you can just use your own eyes and you can realize that you are the witness. You are the knower of all. And at times, we can become the mind if we're not quite conscious. So this subconscious takes over when we get triggered. It's a self-defense mechanism. If you start realizing, use your self-defense mechanism. And the wise thing is, if you know it's a self-defense mechanism, this is a radar, this is a alarm system that's going off. It doesn't mean you should act. So before you act, you want to use your own eyes. You want to take a survey of your environment. Make sure there's no coyotes out, no bears, no lions, no predators. take a look at your body. If your environment and your body is safe, this will prove to you that you don't need to change. You don't need to move. You don't need to act. You're having a psychological problem. This is something that you believe, what you feel. You're creating this experience. You may believe it's the other person, but this is where we're starting to understand that this experience that's going on inside of us, we're the only ones to experience this. And in that, it's kind of scary, but it's also a relief in time that you are in control of the inner experience. Right now, the inner experience is a reflection of the conditions you expect in order for you to be happy, for you to be content. And the truth is, it will never be that way. We cannot expect for this world to be our way. And that, unfortunately, is the aspect of all of our egos, expecting other people to be the way that we were raised. There's a lot of different stories along the way that I'll share with you that helps you see things in a different light. But for right now, our anxiety and our depression is simply a reflection of our list of fears and our list of wants. The things that we fear and the things that we want is what affects our subconscious drive. And this affects you, how you move, and if you move, or and how and why. But if you take your system off autopilot, especially when you're triggered, and you take accountability for all your actions and what you show in this world, and you discipline yourself to not react to your problems, that you're going to try to respond so you can fix them. This process will allow you to formulate a different way for you to work through something that basically your subconscious needed to work through at an earlier developmental stage. And the truth is, our ego, who our subconscious is the child that your parents were forced to raise, forced to parent, the student your teachers were forced to teach. Now, this process is about you becoming the student you want to teach, the clarity of that. You have a knowing inside. Now, our minds has a very strong, certain view of what things are, but if you use the now to define your experience, to see what things really are, you may start seeing past your belief about things to see the certainty is the limitation of our mind. That this world is a lot greater than what our minds can understand, and knowing that our minds is the limitation that leaves you open to desire to know that will help you get past your belief. So how to do this process is to not react. Simply enough that you're going to try to learn to respond. And in your free time, well, it's to say this. Beautifully, I'm right by water. And I would say that the reflection of the sunlight is what consciousness is. The reflection of sunlight on water. And the accuracy of being able to see the sun depends on the motion of the water, as well as the debris in the water. As you can see, it's pretty calm, but there is still yet ripples that you cannot see the sun entirely. And in the East, they use consciousness as a way for you to be able to be aware, to see past the mind and Consciousness is that by which the mind is known. So that part of you that knows your mind, that is aware of this process. It's like to say that consciousness has no choice, that you are the choice of consciousness. And this is going to reflect the truth and accuracy of how you're experiencing life. And as you become more conscious, you're going to find that there's a transaction that goes on inside. And consciousness, which is partly who you are, you're so much more. You're also truth, your awareness. You're a lot more than what your mind may believe. In the now is the only way for you to know anything. If you go into your mind, you're only going to believe. Your mind can never know. Your mind can remember, it can imagine. But the only way for us to know is to experience something in the now. Now, as simple as that is, consciousness is discerning between the now and what we believe of the now. And these two are different within you. So, if you were to use this metaphor of water, the idea is when you get triggered, you are the water, and it's about trying to still the water. And then when you meditate, it's learning how to calm your seas. And right now, I would say most of us, our ocean has a lot of waves. So if we start breathing and sitting and meditating just for 2 to 5 minutes a day, you'll see a transaction within the first week and definitely within the first 30 days. But there's yet knowledge for you to ground yourself in the now, to know and know how to know is a journey to get off of belief. But the first thing is this journey is about showing you the path inward. And the path inward can be a very scary journey. This may be the scariest thing you've ever done. But it'll grab your attention. So hold on to the now, and you are the now. And if you let that go, if you're in your head, still the water. Get back to the basics, get to the now. Take a look at your environment. Get grounded in your foundation in the now. And start discerning. Write it down and do things different. Remember this, you're perfect. We're only believing right now. So one way to wake up is I can show you kind of all this beautiful information, but I can tell you is if you just use your awareness in the now, you might start experiencing and watching your mind, how certain we are about our beliefs about things, about what it is and what it is not. And when you realize the greater whole of what belief is, it's a nightmare for us to be woken up from, to be more practical and logical, to realize and to know we haven't lived this day, that we're not psychic, we don't know the future. We only know what we know right now. And if you use what you know right now, then we can learn from our mistakes. And all this guilt and all these symptoms of our past trauma are things that help us wake up from our belief state. It's very much like waking up with your eyes open from a nightmare. But we have to experience this, yeah? So right now is the middle of the journey, and holding on to the now, learning how to do it. When the seas are calm, when you have calmness in your life, when there's nothing going on, it's the best time for you to start repairing your boat, getting provisions, get ready for this journey. So start learning all that you can, how to tie knots. Everything you need is in Butorfly. Take time to start learning for 30 days, and imagine in 30 days you're going to go on a journey, you know? And I'm hoping that's going to be going into level 3, or in time you'll go into that. You'll make another choice, but right now is your choice to react or not react. You're trying to learn to sit, which is meditating, as well as learning a little bit more about yourself. So consciousness is a reflection of light on water. When I say that you're perfect, what I'm saying is you are the light. Aloha.